Good evening, all. So today we have a very interesting talk about CVs and resumes and how people are applying to jobs in 2018 and how people are getting jobs and what are the best ways to do this. So it's quite an old topic that a lot of people are facing, that they graduate from a particular degree, or they have to write their whole life or their whole experiences in 2 pages in a CV, and based on that they have to show the recruiter their capabilities, their performance, their ideas, and what they can do in the future. So is this the way forward? Is this how we should be doing things in the year 2018? Or there must be other ways and much better ways to do this? And can the human being really summarize his life in 2 pages that can be sufficient and inclusive of all of his experiences and all of his capabilities, or at least the one that is related to a particular job? So some CVs are shorter than the job descriptions, or some CVs are shorter than the project scope or the job responsibility. So sometimes even recruiters are becoming so professional that they write the responsibility of the jobs in a professional way. They write what they expect from the candidate, what are the expected outcomes, what is the time period, and what are the responsibilities, and what are the accountabilities, what they will be held accountable for, and how many people they will be managing, and what they should be expecting. So sometimes the recruiters are so specific while writing about a particular post, that but also sometimes the CV is so extensive that can include all the job responsibilities or a big part of it. So the challenge that the job seeker face these days, that there is, number one, there is a lot of competition. Number two, the recruiters do not read CVs anymore, or they skim through it quickly. So in a professional organization, you will see several people on the HR, and in some small organization, you will not see HR people at all. So this is the difference in terms of candidate selection. Either you have, let me say, a 6 people. Let me say you have an HR business partner, then you have an HR director, then you have let me say, a recruiter, and under the recruiter you have an assistant. Or you might have, that's the line, the HR line, or you might have only the job owner or only the company owner. He's the one who can select the candidate. So there are some differences in terms of the capabilities and the efforts that are being put in choosing a particular candidate. And in many cases, and I would say in many cases, the outcome is, let me say, the outcome is not really better. So in many cases, even with all of these studies, even with all of, let me say, if all of this work on the HR, we see that even big companies are struggling sometimes to innovate. We see that there will always be a small startup that can have some form of, let me say, some form of capabilities and innovation that are much higher than big companies. We can see that some people in big companies are good in following a particular process which might affect the bottom line of the company. So big companies tend to standardize things that sometimes they lose the value in the process, and small companies, they tend not to standardize things, but they, based on their capabilities and their offers, they try to take the person as a whole package, and they try to understand all of his capabilities and leverage all of his capabilities or all of different potentials. So I think we still have an HR problem. We still have an employment problem. We still have a problem on how to select people and how to apply for job, and where our efforts directed in terms of choosing candidates. Or are we choosing the best candidate? Are we looking for someone to just to do the job, or we are looking for someone to build a relationship with? Are we are looking for someone that can feed our culture, or we are looking for someone just so professional and cost efficient? So the dynamics of choosing a person within an organization are so high, and there are so many elements. In short, I think the CV, the resume is not the answer, especially with the current technology where you have data mining technology looking at extract the words from different DTs, CVs, and just somehow, let me say, summarize the whole CV in a small profile. So with that, I would say this is not the way forward. So what is the way forward based on my understanding? I think a combination of psychometric assessment tests, a combination of hackathons, a combination of training camps, a combination of internships, a combination of, and there are not much internship opportunities. So, so that's another problem. There are not many people who are willing to teach what they do, and some companies, they don't have the time or the resources to teach others. So that's another way. And I salute some initiatives from some ministries where they say you can take this guy as an intern. We will pay his salary for the first 6 months, then you will continue paying his salaries for the coming years. So some organizations are doing very proper form of, let me say, support in terms of internships. But in general, I don't think there are much internships. So I think the whole problem comes from a combination of psychometric assessment tests, training centers, social profile, let me say, interviews, and sometimes maybe a CV or an essay, writing your interest in a particular job or in a particular company, and also, as I said, hackathons and psychometric assessment tests. So a combination of all of these may be the answer. And some companies are doing this. Some, not all, but some companies have the capability to read the CV, do a psychometric assessment test for the candidate, look at his full social profile, and put him in a training center for a week to visualize his teamwork and his capabilities and move forward. And what the problem is, some of these companies who has applied this has been sold. So it's a very big question. So at that time you say these guys were doing a very tough HR policies, and I will mention the name. This company was Atkins. So Atkins was doing a very proper, let me say, HR recruitment. They would take your CV. They want to see a standard kind of guy. You have been doing this for this part of your time. You have been doing this experience. Then you move to this experience. Then you move to this experience. You are part of these professional bodies. You are part of these organizations. You are part of, let me say, you are part of an engineering society. And at the end of the day, the whole company has been sold. And you would say, what is the impact on talent on markets? Which one has the privilege? And this is a very important question. So I don't think, let me say, many other engineering companies had the same level of rigorous HR policies, but also they were not sold. Whether Atkins, I don't think Atkins was struggling, but I think Atkins was sold. And yes, so I think the world needs an answer And I think until now, we really don't have a proper HR answer. So I wish you a great evening. That was my thoughts on CVs and resumes and how really our recruitment policies affect our bottom line. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great evening. Thank you.